Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're focusing on something really crucial, I think.
Mm,
This idea that, well, in today's world, credibility isn't just nice to have, it's basically your main currency.
yeah, absolutely.
So we're doing a deep dive into how reputation actually works. How, if you're strategic about it, it gives you this massive compound return on, well, everything you do professionally.
Exactly. And we've looked at a lot of thinking around this, sort of synthesized it into a framework we're calling the reputation loop.
Okay.
And, this isn't just theory. It's meant to be a really practical, step-by-step pathway,
Yeah.
7 steps.
7 steps.
And it's designed to take you from, say, just knowing stuff to being seen as a genuinely trusted leader, someone who connects people, someone building a real legacy.
What really jumped out at me from the analysis was how important the order is, the sequence. You
Yeah.
can't just pick and choose steps, can you? The whole point seems to be that each step builds on the last one, creates this positive feedback loop.
It really does. It's a system. If you try to jump, say, from learning straight to getting a great reputation, well, it just doesn't work. The structure falls apart.
Okay. So maybe give us the quick rundown, 7 steps.
Sure. So, number 1, learning. That's about depth, staying curious.
Right.
2, teaching, making what you know visible, sharing insights.
Okay.
3, resources. These are like amplifiers. They scale your teaching.
Got it. Multipliers.
Exactly. 4, community, creating that sense of belonging around what you do. 5, connection, becoming essential, linking people together.
The connector role.
6, reputation itself, turning all that previous work into actual opportunities.
Right. A payoff.
And finally, 7, momentum. That point where the whole cycle just keeps feeding itself, almost becomes unstoppable.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Step 1, learn. The engine of expertise. This sounds fundamental.
It absolutely is.
Right.
The research we looked at consistently frames lifelong learning as, well, the engine driving relevance, confidence, and authority.
The quiet truth, I think one source called it.
Yeah, exactly. It's what separates the average from the truly outstanding performers. Successful people don't see learning as something that just stops after school. It's a constant state, a posture of curiosity.
And I was really struck by this idea that expertise is elastic.
Elastic, I like that.
Yeah, it's not fixed. It stretches when you learn new things, but it actually shrinks if you stop.
Right.
It's like a muscle, isn't it? Use it, it gets stronger. Ignore it. Well, it weakens. And your authority kind of fades with it.
The danger there is, well, it's bigger than just falling behind personally. One analysis really cautioned against what it called confirmation consumption, meaning only reading or learning things that just confirm what you already believe.
Right, the echo chamber.
Exactly. If you only consume stuff you agree with, your expertise might feel solid to you, but it becomes brittle. The world moves on in ways you just won't see coming.
And that really ties into those, classic examples of companies that failed.
Huh.
Kodak, Blockbuster, Borders.
Yeah. Tragic, really.
Their failure wasn't just sitting back and doing nothing. It was that their specific expertise got frozen. Kodak, for instance, I read their internal systems massively rewarded the experts in chemical film processing.
Right. The old way.
Yeah. So the people internally who were learning about digital, they were effectively penalized. The new learning was there inside the company, but the structure rejected it. Fatal.
Totally fatal. And the antidote to that, according to the research, is this idea of cross-pollination.
Okay, explain that.
Well, true breakthroughs often don't come from going super, super deep in one tiny area. They come from going, say, reasonably deep in several different areas, and then connecting the dots between them.
So an accountant who starts studying behavioral psychology.
Exactly. Or a marketing person who really dives into learning AI tools. Learning adds context, connections, not just isolated facts.
Yeah.
Experts, the real ones, tend to be broad in their curiosity, not just deep in a single silo.
And there's a quieter benefit to all this learning, too, isn't there? Confidence.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's a specific kind of confidence.
How so?
It's not the hypey, look at me kind. It's earned confidence.
Yeah.
It comes from the quiet evidence that you've actually put in the work,
Right. Competence breeds confidence.
Precisely. And when your confidence stems from real competence, it's just magnetic. People feel it.
And that earned competence, that's like the permission slip you need for the next step, right?
Yeah.
Step 2, teach.
Exactly. That's the crucial pivot. You move from internal depth to external visibility.
And the big insight here seems to be that teaching actually makes your understanding way stronger, like 10 times stronger.
It really does. There's that old saying, right? If you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough yourself.
Yeah.
Teaching forces that clarity, that simplification.
So strategically, learning makes you good at something, but teaching is what makes you seen.
That's the key shift. The world can only recognize and reward what it actually sees. If your expertise just stays in your head or, in your internal company notes.
You can't grow, it can't scale.
Exactly. And there's a huge trust factor, too. Teaching builds trust incredibly fast.
How does that work psychologically?
Well, think about it. When you teach, you shift the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
You stop being just a seller, someone asking for something.
Right, like asking for attention or money.
And you become more like a mentor, a guide. And in a really noisy marketplace, that's incredibly attractive. It pulls people in. Teaching is basically trust in action.
That makes sense. The best brands often feel like they're educating you, not just advertising at you.
Spot on. And the classroom for this today is, well, it's everywhere, and it's often small. We're talking about micro-teaching.
Micro-teaching?
Yeah, it doesn't mean you need a stage or a lecture hall. It could be just a short, insightful post on LinkedIn. Maybe sharing a mistake you made in the lesson learned.
Or like a quick video explaining something complex in really simple terms.
Perfect example.
Or even just a social media thread with a practical how-to tip. Every time you share knowledge, even small bits, you're reinforcing your position as someone reliable, a go-to source. But even with all these new platforms, the sources we looked at still highlighted the power of, well, books.
Oh, absolutely. Books still carry a unique kind of weight, don't they?
Yeah, they give ideas a sort of permanence, a structure. Credibility, too.
Definitely. Think about Simon Sinek's Start With Why.
Great example. Started as a TED Talk, right?
A brilliant teaching moment. But turning that core idea into a structured book, that's what allowed it to scale into this global phenomenon, this movement.
The structure gave it legs. It gave it a legacy.
Precisely. And once you have that structure, that consistent teaching, you need ways to amplify it. You need leverage. Which brings us to the multipliers part of the loop, starting with step 3.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. So you're learning consistently, you're teaching what you learn. Now you need tools, right? Tools to turn that insight into actual leverage. Step 3, resources.
Yeah, resources are all about distribution, essentially. And maybe filtering, too. Well, yeah. Think about the tools themselves. Maybe it's your email newsletter, webinars you run, video courses you create. These obviously amplify your teaching. They get it out there.
Right, reach a wider audience.
But take a newsletter, for example. And it's not just broadcasting, is it? People have to actively sign up. They choose to receive your specific stuff.
Oh, so it acts as a filter. The people who opt in are already kind of pre-qualified. They're interested.
Exactly. You're not just spraying information. You're cultivating this curated audience that hopefully already trusts your expertise from step 2, your teaching.
Okay, that makes sense. But one thing the sources mentioned was the risk of burnout here, right? How do you keep putting out resources, keep teaching without just, churning out low-quality stuff just to be visible?
That's a really important point. And it loops back to step 1, the learning. And also having systems.
Systems for what?
Systems for capturing ideas when you have them. But crucially, prioritizing depth over just novelty.
So quality over quantity.
Pretty much. If you discipline yourself to only publish or create when you have a genuinely useful insight, something derived from your ongoing learning, then the quality stays high and it becomes more sustainable. It's not just about speed.
Okay. And these resources, then, they act like a bridge to the next step. Step 4, community.
Yes, exactly. And this is a step people often overlook, I think. Resources might build you an audience.
Right, passive listeners or readers.
But community builds belonging. That's the key difference.
Audience is passive, community is active, participatory.
You got it. The goal in step 4 isn't just to have followers. It's to foster a sense of shared identity, shared mission around the knowledge you're sharing. It's the difference between, say, 10,000 casual followers and maybe 100 truly dedicated advocates who actively champion your work.
Wow. Okay. And how do you actually build that? What's the mechanism?
Intentional inclusion. It's about creating ways for people in your audience to interact with each other, not just funneling everything back to you.
So less hub and spoke, more .network.
Yeah, think about maybe a private Slack group for people taking your course, or even local meetups where fans discuss your ideas. When people start connecting and solving problems together, using your framework or insights as a common language,
they start being just consumers.
right, they become part of something bigger, a movement, maybe.
And that shared mission, that sense of community, that's what sets the stage for step 5, connection.
Precisely. This is where you become not just known, but truly essential, unforgettable even. We're talking about stepping into that role of the super connector.
The person who knows everyone, or at least knows who needs to know whom.
Exactly, the person who makes the right introductions at the right time.
And the idea here is that every introduction you make is like a deposit, social currency.
That's a great way to put it. One analysis called it social currency, not just goodwill, but this actual capacity to exchange value, favors, opportunities within your network.
So you connect two people who benefit from meeting each other, and instantly your name gets associated with that positive outcome for both of them.
Right. You become the link, and you shift from having to constantly chase credibility to, well, attracting it. It starts flowing towards you.
And there's an authority aspect too, isn't there? Why does being a connector build authority?
It signals something powerful. When you actively connect others, especially people who might even be seen as competitors, you demonstrate what the source is called an abundance mindset.
Meaning you're not threatened.
Exactly. It says, I'm so secure in my own value, I can afford to share the spotlight. I can lift others up. That posture of generosity, of security, it's incredibly authoritative. People respect it.
And I remember reading about the connector law in this context. Something about network value.
Yeah, the core idea is the true value of your network isn't just its size, it's the synergy within it.
Synergy, the connections between the nodes.
Right. You don't need millions of superficial followers. You need strong, meaningful relationships between key people. And if you become the visible person creating that synergy,
you automatically get elevated. You're perceived as being on the same level as the influential people you're connecting.
It's influence in its purest form because it's based on service.
Service? How so?
Well, the sources really stress that inviting others in, making those connections, is fundamentally an act of service.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be huge, elaborate things.
Like what, for example? Small ways to do this.
Simple things, like a really thoughtful personal email introduction, where you specifically say why two people should connect. You two need to know each other because you're tackling similar challenges but have complementary skills.
Okay, that's very targeted.
Or maybe hosting a regular small connector coffee.
Yeah.
Just you and maybe 3 or 4 other interesting people, rotating the group each time. Small, intentional acts.
Okay. So learn, teach, build resources, foster community, make connections, which brings us to the big payoff, right? Step 6, reputation.
Yes, this is where it all comes together.
Yeah.
Reputation is the compound interest on everything you've done so far. One source called it the invisible engine of wealth.
Invisible engine. Because it works even when you're not actively pushing. It pre-sells you.
That's the core idea. It's a crucial difference from just, say, marketing.
How so? Marketing versus reputation.
Well, marketing often involves making noise, right? Shouting to get attention, buying ads, pushing messages out. Reputation, on the other hand, it makes invitations. Opportunities start coming to you, often unsolicited.
Because your name itself has become associated with a certain value or promise.
Exactly. When people think, who is the absolute best at ethical marketing? Or who really understands this complex niche? And your name immediately pops into their head. That's when your reputation starts paying the bills.
Okay. And this isn't just random luck. There's a cycle involved. The reputation flywheel.
Yes, absolutely. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. We should definitely unpack that.
Please do.
Okay, so it starts when you consistently deliver value. That's steps 1 through 5 in action. Learning, teaching, connecting, etc.
Right. The groundwork.
That genuine value then earns praise. People you've helped, people in your community, they start talking. They become advocates. They share their positive experiences.
Word of mouth, testimonials.
Exactly. That authentic praise then gains visibility for you, often beyond your immediate circle. New people hear about you through trusted sources. And that increased credible visibility inevitably leads to you receiving opportunities. And we're not just talking about new clients or customers.
What else?
It could be invitations to speak, partnership offers, maybe mentorship opportunities, board seats, higher level stuff.
Each opportunity reinforces the value delivery, which earns more praise.
Which gains more visibility, bringing more opportunities. Round and round it goes. It creates this momentum that's really hard to stop because it's fueled by genuine external validation, not just your own efforts.
Which leads perfectly into the final step, doesn't it? Step 7, momentum.
It does. Momentum is about making that flywheel sustainable for the long haul. It's about a crucial shift
A shift from what to what?
from early success
Mm-hmm.
that probably relied a lot on sheer intensity, all the hustle, the long hours, doing everything yourself,
Yeah, the grind phase.
to sustained success that's based on integration.
Integration. Meaning?
Meaning building systems that scale your impact without scaling your personal effort linearly. It means constantly evolving your teaching based on your new learning. It means maybe strategically taking on mentoring roles to pass on your knowledge.
So it's about building an operating system for your influence, something that runs partly on its own.
That's a great way to put it, an operating system for your influence. Momentum ensures you stay relevant and impactful for decades, not just for a few frantic months or years.
So what does this all mean? When you put all 7 steps together, this reputation loop, it feels like it's describing an evolution.
It really is. It's an infinite game, not really a finish line. You're constantly looping back, learning more, refining your teaching, deepening connections.
And the ultimate goal isn't just to be seen as an expert.
No, I think the highest level described in the sources is moving beyond just being the expert. It's about becoming a movement leader, a teacher of teachers.
So your role shifts again.
Yeah. Your job becomes less about being the hero of your own story and more about being the catalyst. The person who enables maybe thousands of other people to succeed using the knowledge and frameworks you shared.
Wow. That's a powerful endpoint, or I guess a continuous point.
It is. That's the peak influence. And, across all the different materials we looked at, one idea kept popping up again and again.
What was that?
That expertise isn't about reaching some state of perfection. It's about the pursuit. It's about staying curious, continuously learning, and continuously serving.
Not perfection, but pursuit. I like that. Which brings us to a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on. If your reputation really is what the internet, your peers, your community say about you when you're not in the room,
Yeah, a true test.
then what's one single, consistent, intentional act of service you could commit to doing this week? Could be making a specific introduction, like we talked about. Could be sharing one useful insight you learned. Could be deliberately seeking out some cross-pollination in your own learning. What's one small step you can take to actively define that story they tell about you?